First of all, I was going to ask the question: do we in Brazos County or in Bryan, do we have a euthanization program for stray animals? Do we practice that in?
You talking about a no euthanization program?
Do we have one? Are we allowed to do it? I mean, is it?
We are allowed to do it now. In doing that, I'm careful with my words when you talk about what we call in the industry no kill, because there's been a lot of movement, and I can probably defer to my person behind me. But generally speaking, the no kill comes with a 90% live release. So, it's not completely 100%, but a lot of that is going to be dictated upon space. Space is key. Space is everything. We can hold on to everything, and we could not euthanize anything. But you're not still going to eliminate. You got animals that are gravely injured. That the humane thing to do is to go ahead and put them down. You got wildlife that comes in, and that's part of our numbers as well. You have animals with behavioral issues, and I say that because that is also a debatable topic in our industry. What is behavioral? What is able to be, I guess, trained to a point where they're not a behavioral problem. And so, but as far as going back to your question, anybody's able to do that. It's just a matter of the council being willing to back that idea and being a no-kill facility and have a facility large enough to understand what that responsibility means.
So do we have a no-kill facility?
We do not have a no-kill facility.
We do not have a no-kill facility. Okay.
Now, if you go back to the live release, what I said earlier, we're, I think, roughly at 70%. So that puts us about 20% off if you're trying to reach that industry standard of 90%. And a lot of that is going to be felines. So there's quite a bit of cats that come through that, are what we consider feral cats, or some people call them barn cats, or, those cat colonies that everybody knows about that are out there. And that is an issue that we run into quite often.
Councilman Edge?
Yeah.
Yes, Eric, that $17 million figure that you gave us, is that just a building cost, or does that include fixtures, cages, et cetera?
Design and construction. I think furniture and fixtures, we're going to probably utilize a lot of what we got. We do have a donation fund that we have. And the last I checked, I think it was close to $500,000 that we have. And we fully intend to utilize all of the money that people have donated to the Animal Center over these years to buy and support the furniture and any other things we need inside the facility itself. So there will be some cost absorbed from donated funds.
Is that $400 a square foot in line with normal cost? It seems a little bit high to me.
Yes, because you got to remember what the materials that we're all going to be using are going to be a clinical setting. And so you're going to have things in there too, like, and as I've talked to Councilman Arrington about this before, you're going to have some sound attenuating type materials being used because we want to make sure that we're not reverberating off the walls with sound. You're going to have to also think about non-porous materials. Because things that you don't want to see are going to be things like materials that are able to absorb liquids and stuff. And then that also is very difficult to clean. And then it's also going to be difficult to keep disease control under wraps. So that's a lot of what we go through with that. So,
Councilman Arrington?
Yes, sir. Eric, I've got a couple of questions here. First of all, how do you fund the design? How do you fund something and don't have a design?
Well, our funding number estimate projection was based on the feasibility study that County Architect provided and the facility type and size. And so a lot of that's how the projected number was developed.
But you haven't decided on a design, right?
No, we have not. But we kind of landed on.
But you funded it already.
But we landed on a size. And so based on the $416 a square foot, and our budget is going to be what the budget is. So if we have $7.4 million, that's the number we're going to aim for as far as design and construction.
And was there any other locations considered beside Martin Luther King?
In the beginning, in 2018, to go back, there were a couple other sites that we had. One of them was repurposed, so that one kind of got off the table. The other one, because there was so much dirt work that was going to be needed to get done, which is very costly when you're trying to build something up, that we kind of pushed that one off as well. Down the road, there was several other spots that we looked at, but for different reasons they were eliminated. And then there was another one, and I believe the one you're getting to is going to be the one at Coulter Field, that we looked at a spot over there. But once again, going back to the number of folks that are coming through the door, our dependency on volunteers, our ability to have, because we're not only just sheltering animals, but there's also a retail side for our business, and it's to get the animals back out. So in order for us to do that, we felt like the best spot and to give us the most success would be one located right off of Highway 6. And it being also located next to an operation where we're already operating our public works facility pretty much 7 days a week. Obviously, the bulk of that time is going to be Monday through Friday, but we're still operating day in and day out. So,
yeah, Eric, let me preface this by saying this. I met with the deputy city managers yesterday, and I'm speaking for District 2.
Okay.
And I know it's over in, is that your cross street right there? But it's faces District 2. We got that straight. But one of the things I brought to them, a little history I was saying to Joe and Hugh, East Park, when it was originally put over there, established over there, that's the black people's traditions. That's our tradition in the black community. That's our tradition neighborhood. And they were very skeptical about putting an animal shelter at their front door. If you go into District 2 and talk to the residents over there, like I said, that's our traditions. And that's why I was asking if there was another location, had we considered another location rather than right there. So speaking on behalf of them, I know that they're not in favor of it.
right.
And one of the things that, and Ms. Carley was supposed to come, the other former county commissioner, because she lives there. She was supposed to come and say something at the end of the meeting, because she said that's going to devalue her property. And I know it's going to be a state-of-the-art building, but it's still an animal shelter. So would we feel the same way if we put the property that we might have out on Boonville Road by Marymont? We put an animal shelter there. Just food for thought. But that's the thought of the District 2, and I had my town hall meeting, and that's what they're saying. Why do this is our tradition.
Right.
This is ours right here. Can they put it somewhere else? It's not that they're against an animal shelter. I've got questions here about how to kill them, and you have to kill them and stuff like that. The Kemp Carver School at the end of that street. One time at the end of, I think there's still Martin Luther King all the way dead end back there.
To Muckelroy?
Yeah, back there.
Mm-hmm.
We have a problem right there, and I've called animals. They come and they dump animals out right there. The school, if you go to Kemp Carver School, their playground in the morning is feral cats and dogs. They come and dump them at the dead end of the street. So, I know we need one.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing was, like I talked to you before, is just the location. If we could consider, if another location could be considered an option, because I think as far as, I don't know how the property values are working there, but I know as far as the citizens in there, I know nobody else will build a house over in there because it's an animal shelter there.
Yeah, and I'm speaking probably more of just me speaking, but I'm sure, and you mentioned before the state-of-the-art facility, but the facility itself, we're going to make sure it's going to be a very nice facility. And obviously $7.5 million is not a small amount of money, but I'm sure looking at the design of it, setbacks, having additional landscaping in the front, maybe prevent almost to the point where it's there, but you have some barriers there, maybe with a tree line, making it look more like a park setting rather than the building itself. But
Eric, when did we have, and I asked the city managers also, and excuse me for interrupting you, when did we have any citizen input on that? When did we have a public hearing on that location? And it was just, nobody talked about it. It was just put there, so that's what they're saying. It was just thrown on us. We didn't say anything about this.
Yeah, and I guess I can't think of a town hall or a public, meeting that we had for it, but I do know during the time we were doing this in 2017 and 2018 up to the feasibility study, we did have ACAC meetings, and they are public, and there was opportunity for folks to come and speak because we had it listed on there several times on the ACAC agenda. So I mean, I know that's not like a council meeting, but there was an opportunity there, just like we did for our animal ordinance, which we did get a whole lot of traction.
Is it ACA meeting, did you say?
The ACAC, yeah, the animal,
And where they posted at? Where are they posted?
city secretary posts, yeah,
Okay.
they post out. So I know there was,
Eric, if I could just add real quick, I mean, because we've been talking this for several years prior to most of these people being on council, and I think there's been different properties that have been talked about for a long time, and trying to have the least impact, the most amount of benefit with the properties, and as we said, the drainage and all the different things. I know with city manager, prior mayor Nelson, looking at different things from everybody, and I think this is one of the places that we looked at. We looked at another place that was over on not 1179, but on the other side of Old Reliance. And there was something out there. There was something rehabbing the old facility, trying to figure out that. But of course, the easements and the hot power lines would not let that happen as well. So, I mean, there's been a lot of talks. I'm going to let that go on to Councilman Salvato has the floor now, and then Councilman Edge after that.
Yeah, I was just going to echo a few things. I know there's multiple things at play here, unfortunately. I know that, we've got to look at land that the city owns. I don't think we're interested in going out purchasing land at the current prices. You've got a fiduciary responsibility to the city and the citizens, as well as trying to make sure that we build the nicest property that meets the demands that our community needs for the animal population. So once you weigh all those different things out, I certainly can understand, Councilman Arrington, where you're coming from, but I think there is a fiduciary responsibility that we have to review as well as we elect to do things like this for our community. We have to make sure that we're weighing all options. And so it sounds like for one reason or another, most of these other sites were eliminated for cost purposes or areas that might not. And I think you've got a very good supportive evidence with the number of calls that y'all have had in that area. You can see the density that's, every minute that you're having to drive is extra wear and tear on the vehicle, extra fuel, more hours for animal control officers. And so again, looking at all of those different aspects of this location, I think we have to weigh those in as well as to the public opinion. So,
Councilman Edge?
Yeah, I would agree with Councilman Salvato. Obviously, we do have to consider the cost. If someone were to come to me as a council member that represents District 4 and find that there's some city-owned property on Boonville Road by Miramont and a facility similar to the one that's been presented is considered, I would be very comfortable with that. As I look at it, that the facility, that current campus is, the time I typically spend there is when I bring my used oil over to the Municipal Services Center. It's not, it is more of an industrial style facility currently. And as I see a public facade similar to what we're seeing here, I see it as being an improvement upon that area. I think as you're coming in from Highway 6 down MLK, this is going to actually be sort of a nice kind of an entryway into that city services area. So I don't see it as something that's going to negatively impact property values. With the architectural considering, I've actually looked into the current animal center and what type of calls and concerns and complaints we've had from the neighborhood, and I'm frankly not hearing that. And I'm assuming that this is going to be more of a state-of-the-art facility. It's as I look at it from the aerials, it is isolated enough from the neighborhood such that I don't think it's going to be a problem. So as I see it, I'd be happy to express the same thing to any citizens that might be willing to call, because I think it's the ideal place and it makes sense because we already own the property, and so I'd be very very comfortable with the current location as it's been proposed.
Have we heard anything from the current animal shelter? Has it devalued any of the houses around the area there?
I haven't heard anything. I do know there's a storage facility on one side of it. If you're looking at it from FinFed, there's a storage facility on one side of it.
And then there's a neighborhood right next to that.
There's more like a College Grove RV park to the side of it, and then behind it
to the north.
Yeah, and then behind it, we do have some green space, and then we have another Turkey Creek trailer park that's back over there. So
Just to the north of that, there's I guess a storage facility, and then there's a neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a small little RV park with a store right there next to it. And that backs up right to the fence. I mean, they're fence to fence where we're currently at.
Okay, are we asking for direction on this right here, or we can take action on anything?
We just want to make sure that the council's comfortable with the direction that we're headed, so
Yes.
that when we roll out design work, that you're all familiar with where we're headed.
How much did the price go up from when we did it the last time?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I should have wrote that. That's one thing I didn't write down. I think it went up.
I think the longer we wait, the more it's going to continue to go up, and we're going to end up with
$100. Okay. Well, she's telling me it was about $100 difference.
$100 a square foot difference.
Yeah, from previous.
The
That was
18,000.
2018. So, but I can definitely give you a firmer number because I have the study back at the office, and I can give you a number.
And we
But
can assume that if we wait another year or 2 years to do this, it's going to continue to go up for another
if we
substantially.
do, I would probably recommend us reaching back out to Conley Architects and getting a new proposal for a projected number, because he did a whole exercise and kind of based it on construction costs and provided that to us, and that's what we came up with our numbers. So.
Is there anybody not in favor of the direction staff is headed right now?
I just have one other quick question, and I don't know if I'm assuming that you said that y'all are going to borrow from the solid waste
Yes.
fund to go ahead and start this. I'm assuming there's no accounting issues or anything like that to be able to commingle.
We'll do a
funds?
we'll do a reimbursement resolution, and we'll get it all taken care of because solid waste wants its money back.
Yeah, I figured we didn't want to cut that budget.
Yeah,
so,
no, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm in favor.
Oh, Mayor, I'm sorry. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done.
I because of the constituents that I have in that area, I can't support it. The staff
You
moving
can't
forward
support
on-
where it's at, or you
on-
can't
on-
support the project because they're going forward
where
on the
it's at. I
project.
can't support where it's at.
Okay, we'll note that down. Anybody else have a problem? All right, thank you.